Hey, this is Daryl Olson from the Jackson Fishing Team, and our fourth fly that we're tying in the saltwater series is called the Bullethead, and it's a fly for snook fishing. And I don't remember who did it. I apologize for that. I'll put that in the notes. But let's take a look at it, and I'll describe the materials as we go along. Alright, so this is what the Bullethead looks like. And Ariel Cabrera from Florida down there in the Everglades and the Gulf Coast. Very effective pattern in that area, and it can be used for redfish or speckled trout, whatever's down there. But you know, it's primarily designed for snook. Very effective for that, from my understanding. So we're going to go ahead and tie up these materials, and we'll explain them as we go along on there. But that's what the fly looks like. Only a few pieces, you know, some Marabou, some woven body material, and some eyes, and thread to match the body material on there. The hook we're going to use is a Umpqua Backcountry, an XS 415 in a 1/0. It's kind of like a stinger hook. You could probably use a Gamakatsu V10S in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to debarb the hook. I probably haven't shown on that for a while, but somewhat move the barb, flatten it a little bit. We're going to use some 210 white, since it's using an easy body. It only comes in one color type thing, a pearl. This is a pretty easy fly to tie, except once we get to work on that head and the body, it is a little difficult on there. You'll see me struggle with that. And we'll take that up around where the barb of the hook is, or where it was. And we're going to use some Marabou quills in white. And I'm going to use two, just so it gives it an extra body. And then I'm going to kind of wet it so it's there. So I'm going to do about 2 hook lengths on there. And we'll tie that right in, right there, at the bend of the hook. And just so that it sticks up a little bit, I'm going to put 1 loop under there. And we're going to try to keep the material on top of the hook. And we'll trim off this excess. And then we're going to tie off our thread here. For now, we're going to put it back on. So we'll just put a quick whip finish. And the next material we're going to put on 1.5 inches of this Easy Body Pearl in large. And that's about maybe 1/2 inch when it's flattened. And there's 1.5 inches. And we're going to slide this in. I might just do it this way. I don't know. And just kind of push it back and restart our thread again. And trim off that excess. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie this down right here. And we're going to go tie it down about halfway between, probably to where we're almost close to the point. Point is half the distance on the flat shank, I guess is a good way to describe it. Now I'm going to apply some Zap-A-Gap or a little super glue up here on top to let it soak in. And we're going to let that sit there and dry on there. And that's because we're going to want to now turn this inside out to make it a double layer so it forms a little heavier thing. This fly isn't weighted. I imagine it's going to be either on the surface or just slightly subsurface, pushing water and creating the bites on there, on that part. So while we're waiting, we're going to wait. I'm going to put it on pause for a little bit so you don't have to watch paint dry. Okay, I think our glue's dried. I'm going to leave the thread about an eye width behind the eye of the hook, and we're going to try to push this forward inside out. And the hard part is that, you know, that body's going to want to pull our Marabou. And then once we've got it out, we're just going to push this back again. And we're going to tie in what's now being frayed behind the eye. We're going to build up a head, or the nose of the fly here. And we're going to whip finish here. And we'll give it one more. Next we're going to do is we're going to put the eyes on, and I'm using fish skull living eyes and fire. They're 6mm, and the easiest thing that I have found so that it works out is go ahead and take your two off, and then I just put them on my right there on my hand, so I don't have to go and look for the package again and things like that. And then I'm going to do is I'm going to use some super glue or Zap-A-Gap, and roughly about in this area here, right in here, I'm going to put the first set of eyes. Just put a drop on there. Again, I just have to peel that off. Try not to glue my fingers to them. Like that. Now the hard part is to maybe line it up the other side as close as possible. That looks pretty good right there. Got a fingerprint on that one. But it looks like they're pretty much in the same plane or area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some, to cover the eyes up, I'm going to use some UV clear thick. And I'm just going to put a drop on top of the one side here. And grab a bodkin. And kind of overlap that glue onto the material and the eye. And maybe just spread it over here on the thread, but and then I'm going to shoot with my UV light. and that'll help keep that eye on there, but it's probably not 100% to, you know, a fish will probably tear it off for sure. Anyway, I think the eyes are just on there to make it look pretty and to catch the angler. And the same thing here, kind of spread it around. And we'll shoot that one. And I had enough UV to spread onto the threads from the eyes. And there you have it. The Bullethead. Alright, this is that's the fly. I'm gonna plan to tie some maybe in some using some gold mylar tubing, maybe some yellow body tubing from fish skull in yellow and pink. And the fish skull stuff is half-inch, so it's their bigger one in there. And but give it a try. I'm gonna see what how well it works on my trip down to Florida here in June. All right, we'll see you on the water.